Yo, welcome back to another week of Doubles Premier League coverage. It's week 6. There are only 2 more weeks left before playoffs. Yeah, this time I'm joined by Schister and Jello, the fan favorites per usual. And before we get started, I have a very specific request. I'd like you all watching to go to this one specific post. It's in OFGT round 2, and it's by it's a certain individual named Keanu Grinding Arc. Who just so happens to not be in this call right now because I don't know why. And I'd like you all, good viewers, to go click the haha reaction on this post. Please and thank you. All right, moving on. Okay, the first matchup we have here is between a team that is eliminated from playoff contention, and B, a team that is doing quite
Second
well,
place team.
currently sitting in third
Second?
place.
Oh, third.
Of course, it's not even. Oh yeah, okay, it's third. Okay, so yeah,
Where did 3 ties? Good God.
this week very much matters to the crater makers. I think they could still technically be passed. I think honestly, playoffs are like mostly locked. To be honest, this is like not as interesting to finish to the regular season as we had last year. Uh, but crater makers should be looking to win this week just to like had. I think if they win this week, they clinch probably. Uh, yeah, yeah. If they win this week, uh, they're locked for playoffs. And droughts, they can play spoiler, but yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so first matchup,
Um,
I don't think there's much for prediction to even really be had here. It's ESM. It's the 5-0 player, the only undefeated player left, I believe. Well, maybe Poppy Loco is. Hold on, let me check. Okay,
Bobby
Poppy
Loco
Loco is still
is
5-0, so
uh,
there's two. We did lose one of the undefeated players, but regardless, I am predicting ESM here. What do you guys think?
um you know, um I'm looking at jeez. I think ESM is possibly the GOAT. Very good.
Possibly is
Uh
crazy.
I think possibly. I don't know. Has he
You
has
never
he
know,
has
bro.
he
You
beat
never know.
what I'm saying? Has has he who is he really beaten? He doesn't have any rings for real, let's be honest.
That's crazy.
Um
That's
s-
crazy.
um I think possibly the GOAT ESM. I think sure too. Probably not the GOAT. So gonna go ahead and say ESM wins this one.
High
I'm gonna take
quality.
a left turn and say for OSDT, I'm gonna predict SMB over ESM
That's
out
crazy.
of nowhere,
Oh,
unsolicited for no
Unsolicited,
reason.
just to
That
be
round
a
two game
hater.
is more interesting than this. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be a hater all over today.
let's actually okay, honestly, so crew, let's later, okay, let's do some respect to the
I was
players
actually,
involved here.
I was actually thinking, if there's still time after this, we could just like straight up record like an OSDT video or something. If there's still
Um,
time.
yeah.
Okay,
If Aragon is dead in his bed,
that's crazy. Y'all are gonna roast the shit out of my team. I already know. But yeah, okay. Lemuro versus Ann. Now this is actually a really interesting matchup in my opinion. They did in fact free Lem, and Lem is still free somehow. Wow, shocker. Versus Anne, who has kind of played a whole bunch of different tiers so far. Let's see. Currently 3-2, solid record. An interesting one. What do you guys think? I think I'm gonna lean Anne
Um,
here because Anne is like on my list of like players that I think are like very underrated, but still like towards the top of the pool.
I think, I mean, Anne is definitely a very strong player. I would definitely usually favor Anne, but I mean, first of all, I just like to point out that I've been praying for them to free Lem all season, and the one season they did is when they won the SV 2-1. Just want to point it out. They should have free Lem sooner. And I think Lem is going to continue to prove themselves. I think this is the best I've seen Lem play. And I think Lem's gonna pull an upset here. I'm going Lem.
You know what? I respect it. Respect it.
As someone who took a few weeks to be freed, uh, I understand what you kind of want to prove yourself after being freed. I think Len is going to be a little hungry still, even if his team doesn't seem to be able to qualify playoffs.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. DOU Yuichi versus Shade Kirby. Um, I'm gonna lead Shade Kirby here just because Yuichi really hasn't looked too strong at SV so far. Kunal hasn't looked like maybe excellent, but he's looked quite solid. He's looking at a 2-1 record currently. Very capable player. Um, so I will lead him here.
I I think I think quirky mons and matchup fishing is an art. It's an art form, that few can really master and do efficiently, one could argue I have some of them that do in this call right here. Um I could also argue that there is not one of these people in I'm
Oh man,
sorry. I think
I'm
Yuichi's gonna
sorry.
bring fake.
No,
I'm thinking Yuichi's gonna be fake and bring fake and lose. Yuichi's
damn.
just not. I've not been impressed with any of his teams.
This one was interesting.
This one's
Yuichi,
all right. This one is no, no. Go back first before we get to that abomination. Go back. I'm sorry. What is the Farigiraf doing here? What is the Farigiraf doing
This
here?
one? Oh, which one?
No, the other one.
Oh shit!
What is the Farigiraf doing here? What the fuck
Like
do you have it for? You
this is
don't
like
need it.
you took a Natdex team that had Mega Metagross, you moved it to SV, and you replaced the Torn for Giraffe. That's what you did
Right.
here.
For literally no reason. You have this is on anyway. Go no, don't leave it either. Look at mine. Look at this. Look at my replay. Look at what he brought. What were you matchup pitching for? What were you going to run into that was like, oh yeah, this shit's gonna win?
You
Chancey
thought you were
boy,
gonna use 6 special attackers when there are
I
not 6 special attackers in the entire
and
metagame.
I set up on your Crescent Diancie, so it's still lose. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what this man has been cooking, but I expect it to be fake next time. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Yuichi, listen. If it's Yuichi in a tier that I know he's got actual experience in, I'd be much less quick to doubt him. Yuichi and Dubers, terrifying player. Yuichi, I believe he plays was it SM or XY? I don't remember. But
He plays
if I know you
basically
know,
everything except for SVDOU.
and that's the one he's only started. Honestly, yeah, I'm sorry, Yuichi. I just don't believe in you in this tier. I can't.
Yeah,
Yuichi, if
if I
you're watching this, bring it back to US West, run Okie dokie. Just trust. It's the better
So
call this
true,
week.
actually. Run the doggy.
okay. Hiss versus Robbie 35646. Look at the records here. Hiss sitting at 4-1. As I have brought up every week, this is technically 3-1, but we can't really hold that against him because wasn't Act Win week 1. Never got to actually bring what he brought or he planned to bring. Robbie, I don't think has been doing as well. 1-3. I think I'm gonna lead Hiss here. Hiss has looked really, really good. I think I might have been a little bit too much of a doubter earlier on. He's been one of the people like been on top of this metagame. Uh, so yeah, we'll go with this here.
Yeah, I was a little confused as to why his was kind of going under what's the phrase I'm looking for here? He's kind of just slipping under the radar here. Really wasn't people weren't willing to pay too much for him. I don't remember how much he went for, but not as much I thought he was worth, and I guess it was because had a disappointing season previously that I didn't know about, but I thought was definitely, going to be one of if not the strongest in the pool, and the record showed that I'm right, and I still believe that his is gonna take. I don't think his is taking another L in the regular season personally.
I also think this metagame's extremely fake, and my predictions here, like, don't hold them against me. I really don't like this metagame.
Fair enough.
They really
You
took
know.
that deck's coaching meta, lowered the power level, and it became a worse metagame.
Mm.
I'm a hater.
You say lowered the power level, but the coaching targets all have 600 BST. Are exactly what they are compared to NatDex. NatDex is like 670 BST coaching targets. This one is 600, and all the supports are like 500 BST. It's the
Bro,
same power diff.
bro. Uh, okay,
um,
do you want to
your
say anything
prediction?
here, Shister?
Yeah.
No,
I
not
guess not.
really. I would predict
Okay,
HYS. Robbie hasn't really impressed me in this tour.
fair. All right. SS, Grandma's Cooking versus Tenzai. Another episode of me having to check the records. Tenzai, 2-0 in SV. 2-1 in SS. I'm gonna go with Tenzai here. Grandma's Cooking has kind of bounced around the tiers a little bit. Hasn't really had too much success. And whereas Tenzai has looked really solid, 4-1 overall. Yeah.
Um, this is one of the another cases that I mean I could be wrong. He's willingly slotting in here, but I thought Grandma's Cooking to be one of the people that aren't a big fan of SS. And I've noticed a trend that usually when people that don't like SS play SS, they just vish. um, so if you follow the trends here, I feel like this might just be he's gonna run into a bad matchup and lose. Um, I will say, definitely been playing solid. I think I mentioned it before last week, but like the record in SM is just not indicative of how he's been playing. That tier is just so stacked. Um, is very unfortunate. I think if maybe he bounced around a little bit earlier, it would have been a much more positive record in some of these. Not SM is the death pool.
Yeah, that's
uh,
that's that's true. Yeah, I agree.
SM is the death pool, so it's a very unfortunate. Tenzai. I mean, Tenzai. I don't expect Tenzai to lose to anybody else. I thought yeah, gonna go ahead and say Tenzai is the safe bet here.
Fair enough. Okay. So, any thoughts on SS here, Shister?
Grandma needs to cook if he wants to win. I'll put it towards Tenzai.
So
Fair.
real.
All right, SM. Mizuhime versus T-Man. Uh, this is an interesting one. Mizuhime, I think, got a little bit annoyed at SV. Uh, T-Man hasn't had the
Right,
most solid season.
rightfully so.
Um, generally, just overall. I'm gonna go with this is two people that have not performed really this DPL. I'll go with T-Man because I've never seen Mizuhime play SM. Uh, but really,
Um.
I don't really know what I'm doing here. So.
Uh. You know. Um. Mizuhime is old enough to be my grandmother. So I just like to assume that she played SM when it came out and throughout the generation. So probably has experience in this tier. And I don't know what T-Man's I don't know, underperformance, not too much play. I don't know what to say. So I'm just gonna go with my grandmother.
That's crazy.
What do you think, sister?
There are no comments to be put forth about this matchup. This is an enigma to all.
I have no clue what's gonna happen. I want to see just to see.
All right, we
I have
have
no clue what happen.
JRL versus Z and XY. Z has looked
I'm,
really, really good in XY. I'm gonna go with Z here. I think they really have a good handle on the metagame right now. JRL, of
you know,
course, like one of the great DOU players, so he could pull this out. But I don't think he's like really as much of an XY like guru as Z is.
I also don't
Um,
think he'd be as motivated to win right now.
No, I don't think that
well,
either.
I would like to point out that not being an XY guru right now, you know, the person playing the tier isn't that bad because I don't know why you're laughing.
Self
Listen,
promotion here,
excuse me. I don't know why you thought I am an XY guru. You better stop playing. Hey,
bro.
um, as I was going to say, it's not that big of a deal right now because the brokens are very much discovered and free for everyone to see. JRL just has to bring the same Dio Speed, Kang, Volk, Conk +2, and oh sorry, Lando +1, and you know can win if he plays better because that's really just how you don't have to think if you don't want to in this tier. Um, I will say I feel like not to throw any shots, but Idol kind of dodged Z this week. Let's be real. Wanted to protect that perfect record. Um,
Not so perfect record.
not in XY.
Oh, that's true.
Still yeah, because still has the streak going. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't let us see it, but JRL versus Z, not a bad matchup, not a bad matchup to see. But like you said, Z has been very strong, which is why Idol was very scared. Let's be real. And I expect Z to take it.
Sure. Okay. Unless you have anything
Uh,
to add here, I think I'll move on to BW. Um,
I already said what I had to say.
okay. Idol versus Mishimoto. I really just don't predict against Idol. I just don't. Um,
yeah, you don't. I mean,
I think
you
he's
don't.
like just like the best old gens player there is in the tournament. Just like across the tiers. I will go with him here. Um, Mishimoto, decent at BW. Got a win last week against Actuarily, although I've heard reports that was certainly one of the wins of all time. But
Aaron Zing coming back from the dead.
oh no, oh no.
Mm,
But yeah, I will go Idol here. I just think he really just he has a good handle on like every old gen, so I think it's a
I
safe
mean,
prediction.
very, very. I mean, long and proficient. Resume from Idol, and even this DPL. Win over Croven and SM, pretty impressive. What 3-0 in XY, pretty impressive. Kind of hard to bet against, and I would have loved for a much harder prediction, going against Z. But some people don't want to give the fans what they want, even though they're out. Just saying. Um, so gonna go ahead
Oh, is
and
salty.
I am salty. I wanted to see that so bad. I was so excited for it.
Yeah, it was
I
gonna be
was like,
really funny if that happened.
I was like, Droughts versus Greater Makers. Let's fucking go, and then they didn't slot in. What the hell? I'm so
Yeah,
mad. Whatever. He's gonna win. No, he does. We know he's gonna win.
Ish.
ish. It's crazy. Okay, all right. You guys can take it away here. Hydreigon's versus Storms.
This one, they're out already, but this is actually a fairly important one here because I believe if the Storms win, we are
They take
guaranteed our spot.
Hydreigon. They take Hydreigons with them if they win, don't they?
Exactly. Um, this is this is definitely an interesting matchup. Hydreigons get Storms into Droughts for the last two, so ending the season should be light, but I think this will be difficult. Starting with Yo Buddy versus Genesis. Um, I love my boy Genesis. That's my pal. They've come in fairly new user, has been doing great. Um, I think Yo Buddy is like super. I mean, I literally talk about how much I love Yo Buddy's play every single week, and I don't think Genesis is quite where he is yet. In play, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick Yo Buddy to win this one.
When I look at the names Bo Yummy and Nemesis 77, I gotta be honest. I'm immediately preferential towards Bo Yummy. I could see Genesis pulling a win here, but I'll lean the same way you do for now.
Yeah, I could definitely see. I'd hope to see an upset here, but I don't think it's happening. Um, Here we see Keanu versus Gen One.
Two players that will certainly give this tier more than 30 minutes of prep time this week.
Certainly, yeah, for sure. Um,
I can't
I'm gonna,
blame Gen 1. He
yeah,
is, as he has stated in Discord, moving right now. If
Gen
I'm not remembering incorrectly, and
Gen
Keanu
One
will be Keanu.
always busy. I feel. Um, so I can't, you can't, no prep always a bad thing, but it's like Keanu I know is occupied with other stuff, with VGC stuff going on right now, and also I believe Gen One to be generally the more stronger DOU players. Uh I'm gonna go ahead and hope Gen One takes this one for my sake.
Jinwoo will probably have some solid cores, but I could totally see Keanu saying, "Screw it, I'm gonna take his. Gonna at Schister at 2 a.m. Give me a team. I give him a team, and he just games with it."
Oh
I
my
could totally
god.
see that happening.
Yep, you're gonna pass some fucking Goltris screens plus Spinda and it's gonna win.
But spin is crazy.
I'll I'll pass him Medicham. Don't you worry. I still have that Medicham team in my builder. Aragon knows what I'm talking about.
Oh god.
All I can say is just a sigh.
Moving on to paraplegic versus who will get all right. Will paraplegics 10 minutes before the match team be stronger than whatever get Zom gets past? That's the question of the day. Uh, hmm. Let's see. You know what? I expect this to just be two really stupid teams, considering Storm's already lost. I expect Aragon's gonna get in the lab and get a little experimental. Gotta scratch that mad scientist itch of his.
Aragon will refrain from commenting for his own personal needs.
It's okay. We all know it's true.
There may or may not be
Uh,
interesting choices brought to certain tiers this week.
oh God. Yeah. I'm I'm gonna go ahead and how do I even say this is such a this is fucking Frankenstein's monster in a match. I'm predicting fake mons. That's it.
Wow.
Somebody's bringing Garganackle. I don't. I can feel it. I don't even know if it'll be in DOU. It might be DUU.
uh
Zom is super busy as always. I think Para might be a little bit more familiar with whatever jank they would bring if they do bring jank. I'll lean Para in this one specifically because if it is a jank versus jank matchup, I know Zomog is gonna be like, okay, I don't know what any of this stuff does, but I can play Pokemon.
all right then. Okay. This one, a very important fact. Um, I was scrolling through the OSDT round one to see, if there were any like cool set I missed. And I looked at a QSNS post and it was of them contacting their opponent first, showing up on time, and giving them 30 minutes to play. Um this is significant information because I believe that this might mean, I could be wrong, but this could mean that this might mean QSNS might show up to their game and prepare. And if that happens, QSNS will win. That's always the big gamble with betting on QSNS. Will they show up? But I think you know what? I think that's a reason for me to believe it's at the end, Aragon. Um
gone on a witch hunt for a random
Look at this.
addict call. What is
Do I need to post my surrender? You know what?
Surrender.
He really is professional. You know,
He
I really respect that
he
in a
really
new
is.
player.
Good thing this wasn't VGC. Kisness was about to get fidgeted four times in a row.
Oh no.
Yeah, you know what? I think QSNS will win. I think QSNS will show up on time with the team. What are your predictions, sister?
Anything can happen in this tier. This tier is unreal right now. Load Dondozo with unaware. Deny all the coaching users. You will win. Whoever is playing DUU, hear my plea. Load Dondozo. It'll be funny.
They'll do it.
There is no other goal in this tier.
Gosh, somebody's gonna listen. Stop.
Good. We need to stop the coaching menace with unaware Pokemon.
It doesn't work in that deck, so hopefully it works here. Um, moving on to Hugo versus Berg. Hugo underperformed in DUU a little bit. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Let me stop. What is going on here? Why is go back to the lineups real fast?
It,
Um,
it,
why
wait a minute.
why is this happening?
Hugo's in
Why
SS. Hugo's been freed. He's been freed from hell.
Hugo
Let's
in
go,
SS
Hugo.
is good? I just realized I don't understand why known DUU main previously played it in a team tour. Keanu is still slotting in DOU when Quab, who is new to this tier and thus far as I know, has only really played DOU, is in DUU. Why is this happening? I'm I misunderstand this lineup choice. Especially after Quab just had a win over Ash Ketchum Gamer, who top cut. Like this was a almost top cut. Like this was a I don't know. Strange lineup choice by Red and Snaps, but
I
Hugo
would not be
versus
surprised if
Iceberg.
Keanu refused to play DUU. I'll just say that.
Oh, that is true. This is a pretty fake tier right now. Quab might just be this might just be the Quab doing the duty. um I will say, you know, I Berg did beat JRL and SS last week. I wouldn't be surprised if Hugo. I don't know what Hugo usually brings to this tier, but I'd assume it's
Genesect.
probably everybody brings Genesect.
Specs. Genesect.
What did you just say to me?
I said choice specs Genesect. I will not say anything further. That's all you're getting here.
Okay. All right. Change of heart. I think Hugo is gonna bring Genesect Rain with Choice Specs Thunder, and we should all be very afraid. Um. Oh God. This I'm gonna vote my boy Berg. You know, I like Berg. Berg is my good pal. And Berg just beat Jero. And Hugo did not beat Jero. So by that math, Berg should win.
Maybe Berg, but this is the Hugo.
Oh
We don't
God.
understand his powers in SS.
Oh God.
By the power of memes, I will give Hugo my vote.
Oh Jesus. All right then. um, Zoe versus Croven. I mean, Zoe, good player, great player. You know, solidness. It's Croven. Do we even
It's
have to?
Croven.
Croven.
You
That's
don't bet
fair.
against Croven.
Um, Paint
You
versus
don't bet
Laptop.
against Idol. You don't bet against Croven. You put them against each other, then we'll have something interesting to talk
Then we
about.
have something interesting, right? But until then, Croven. Um, Paint versus Laptops. Ooh.
Can we see the
Hmm.
record on these two?
I think Paint is 2-0 in XY, if I'm not mistaken. And Laptops is what?
I think
3-2?
I've I I think I've believed in laptops every week.
Oh, laptops is 3-2 and paint is also 3-2. Oh, did paint really slot in XY every week? I didn't know. Um,
Yes, yes.
oh wow.
I'm gonna continue my streak of believing in laptops just for the cause at this point.
I'm
At least I think there's a streak. I could be very wrong.
mm, this is this is interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is difficult, actually. I've been really liking how Paint has been playing in every tier lately. Um, Paint's just been super consistent. I mean, Paint's always super consistent, so no surprise there. But it's like, am I gonna bet against laptops, especially after who was the win last week? It was a pretty. I forget who it was. I forget who was against, but it was pretty impressive. From what I remember, that I liked how they played. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say laptops. I'm gonna go ahead and say laptops takes this one out. Um, Once again, I also need them to. So laptops has never let me down in times of need. So I'm gonna go ahead and say laptops is gonna take this one in XY. And I believe Sisters also pro laptops. Ooh, okay, this one. Yuki versus Smudge. Um, I've been honestly, this is the most impressed I've been with Smudge's play in a very long time. Um, I've been super happy with Smudge's play and team choice, honestly, in the last couple of weeks in this tier. Um, I've been really this is the best form I've seen him in so long, I feel.
This year has been pretty epic so far.
This year has been pretty epic. It's also been really close. Just like overall team records, I think in black and white has been the closest by far. Um, so you honestly really can't too confidently say anything. But
You could have started out saying actuarially and checkmater confidently, but even them, they're 3-2 as well.
they're 3-2 as well as Smudge.
And
The
That is
the
not the
Wob.
I
two.
gotta
I will
say,
say that it's not the two people I would have expected, or I would not have expected actuarially and checkmater to be doing better than Dad One and Wobble Pit. That's all I'm gonna say here.
Um. Yeah, I mean, but that's just look at the names in this book. This is also kind of a very strong book. I mean, Act checked, Dad One, Dewab, Fran, just on paper, very, very, and just like overall teams. If you look at these records, this is still like super impressive. Like the droughts are, the droughts are 4-2. I think what's the worst record here? Um, I think the worst record is 2-3, right? That's it. Uh, this is definitely, or I guess.
2-3 between
Yeah, the worst record is 2-3 across the board, and the best record is
Smudge
3-2
lost his
across the
first two
board.
weeks, right?
Yeah, and then
no.
or Smudge beat T-Man.
Yeah.
Okay, so lost to Dad one, and lost to X,
So
and then won against the Wob and against Shaq. Yeah, I you know what I'm liking. I've really been liking Smudge. I think it's gonna get it done again.
both of these players have great momentum, and I have no doubt that if both are still motivated to play their hearts out, that this will be a great clash.
Hmm.
I gotta say, of the black and white games that I've watched, Smudge's play has impressed me a little bit more. Just a small bit in Smudge's favor. And maybe that's US West bias, but oh no. US Westies.
All right, I have by complete coincidence predicted the Storms to 8-0. So um do hope I'm right, just to really really hammer the nail in the coffin for the Hydreigons.
Let's not
Aragon
Oh,
go.
call.
oh, he hating today. He is
He's
hating
hating.
I
today.
need them. Listen, this is all business. I need
All
them
right.
out so we can secure the spot. Aragon, call up your boys. Let them know y'all got to get it done.
Bro. Why would I do that in order to support my least favorite franchise of all time, the Slateport City Spindles?
Wow. Oh,
I will not
It's
elaborate.
okay.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll put him down. I'll put him down this week.
All right. Spindles versus Ducks. I can finally talk again. Okay.
your XY is fake.
My XY is fake? That's crazy. Interesting. Okay. Starting off with DOU. Zerd versus Enzo Nana here. Uh, this is an interesting matchup. Probably more interesting than what I would have probably predicted towards the start of the season. Zern 3-2, not bad, but definitely could be better for someone of his playing caliber. And Enzo Nana, always pretty solid player. I think here I'm gonna go with Zern because this week doesn't really like matter as much to the Ducks as it does to the Spindles. And I expect Zern will be like tryharding. So um, I think Zern is gonna really like try to like increase his play the next few weeks. 3-2 is he both of his losses were like kind of games he should have won, but for various reasons didn't. Uh, so I will predict Zern here, although Enzo can really win against anyone. Okay, DOU
Bonus
Zeal
points to
versus
Zern for the
Schister.
20% chance. There's a 20% chance that Enzo Nana decides to disappear on game day, as has already happened.
That's crazy,
So bonus points to
but not
Zern.
exactly wrong. Okay, Zeal versus Schister. Um, hmm. This is a really good matchup. Zeal started
Slenderman.
off 4-0 last week, and Schister is 3-0. Obviously, I'm pretty biased here, but I will lean Schister just because someone who is maybe one of the more notorious matchup fishers over the last year. When you're winning the matchup fish week after week, it just gets easier and easier to win the matchup fish. That's just the way it is. And Schister has definitely won the matchup fish the last 3 weeks. And so, yeah, this would be a good game. But I'm very interested to see what Schister cooks up this week, and whether or not it will be more or less interesting than what I build for a very interesting game, which I will not specify. Okay,
Warning to all:
DOU
do not build Reuniclus. Not do it.
Uniclus.
It's bad.
What the
It
fuck?
it's so bad.
Jonas versus Poppy Loco.
What
All
are you
right,
running, a Spinning Force Focus Blast? Like, fuck.
bro. Magic card isn't that good an ability, bro. Okay. Jonas versus Poppy Loco. Poppy Loco has looked really good. 5-0. Jonas just got the start last week, 1-0. However, I'm actually gonna maybe surprise some people here. I'm gonna go with Jonas. And the reason for this
The correct
is
choice.
primarily because I saw Jonas get a win the other day against Bagel. Wow, so surprising. Everyone's very surprised. Bagel, obviously a good player. But really, I wasn't that surprised by it. Because I've seen Jonas play really good Pokemon before. And on this team, he definitely has like the support necessary to build teams. Or to like bring good teams. And that's the thing that as someone who has provided teams to them in the past, they don't really build that much, if I'm being honest. But this is a team that is perfectly suited to provide them with teams. And so I'm going to go on a limb and say that Jonas is going to win this week. Although it's hard to predict against Poppy Loco, but I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised they waited this long to put Jonas in, to be honest. I think that's kind of I could see why they did it, but like at the same time, I would have probably rated him number two, or rated them number two as their DOU player. So I was a little surprised it took them so long to slot him in. Um,
So you would have subbed me out, is what I'm hearing. Where okay,
I'm not going to say my rankings, but like I've seen Jonas play games of Pokemon that are like very, very clutch. I will say that. Um,
I'm here.
However, with
I'm here.
them, motivation's always an issue. So um, maybe they'll have like some like something for school or something, and then they just won't prep at all, and then they'll lose. I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay, Kiori versus Relicanth Primal. Um, this tier is fake as hell. I'm gonna predict Kaori though. 4-1, played really well. Okay, moving on. We don't need to discuss that shithole of a metagame anymore. Uh, Star versus Madara. Madara, I am predicting him for pretty much any of the remaining weeks here. Star looked really good early, however, I believe has suffered 2 losses in a row. Um, Still obviously like close to the top of the pool, but really Madara is one of the very best at FF, and like I don't really anticipate him to lose. Like I wouldn't really
Twice in
predict
a
him
row.
to lose like much. So with the rest of the season here, so I will go with Madara. All right, Umbri versus SMB and SM. This is interesting. Um, let's see. SMB's record here. 2-3. Like a
Who's
highlight
ready to miss
matchup
Stone
here.
Edge again?
But
We
I
know it's
can't
gonna
really
happen.
I can't really predict against 4-1 Umbri here. As good as SMB is, but this is like a game you should be paying attention to, regardless of.
Don't worry, he's gonna miss Stone Edge again. It's
Yeah.
happened every game in this goddamn tier.
That's crazy. It's almost like Stone Edge is a bad move.
So,
Okay, XY, Jello versus Voltix. Well, this is an interesting one. Voltix, 2-3, has kind of played tiers I wouldn't have really expected him to play at the beginning of the season. Kind of just doing what's necessary for his team. Uh, and honestly, something I'll give him a lot of credit for here because the 2-3 might not be the best record, but like he's gotten wins on the board in slots where really there's like no one else to fill them here. Uh, so yeah, he's been doing his job for someone who like wasn't like a very expensive player or anything. It's been a good matchup. Uh, it's interesting because these are two decent players that like don't have the most experience in the tier. Jello played pretty well last week. Got a little bit bailed with a certain extreme speed roll, but has looked really solid in this tier. I will go Jello because as long as he doesn't bring Sylveon again, he should be fine. You can't get away with that one twice in a row. Surely not. All right.
uh-huh.
Oh no.
BW.
Oh
Dad one
no.
versus Actuarily. This is a really
Might be my
interesting game,
most it might be
but
my most anticipated BW matchup.
Certainly.
however, I will lead Actuarily here simply because I think Dad one is a pretty busy guy. And I think Act probably has more time to devote to this week, as well as just having played very, very, very well so far. 3-2. Got a little unlucky last week. He has lost 2 in a row, but I do think he'll bounce back this week. But this is another highlight matchup. Umbri versus SMB and Down One versus Act are probably two of the best games this week in general. Uh, yeah, interesting set. I predicted Zern, Schister, Jonas, Kaori, Madara, Umbri, Jello, and Axe. So I predicted 5 free Spindas. We'll see how it goes. The factor with Spindas that really I think gives them an edge as we come down to like the later weeks and into the playoffs uh, is I think really the support on this team is almost unparalleled. So it's going to take a lot for this team to get knocked out in the playoffs if they make it, or just to like even not make playoffs. I think, like I said, to me the standings look pretty locked. I would be pretty surprised if it's not Ducks, Cold Crew, Trader Makers, and Spindas. However, Hydreigans and Thieves are pushing in, so this is an important matchup this week. Spindas can't really afford to lose this one, but if Hydreigans win, so this is important. All these uh, games are pretty important, but this is one of the most important ones because these are two teams I anticipate to make playoffs. So this is going to be interesting to see how it goes down. All right, last matchup: Thieves versus Cold Crew. Starting off, uh, oh, just again, to look at this the sheet here, Thieves really need to get a win this week if they don't want to get eliminated. So that's going to be tough against Cold Crew, a very solid team. Currently sitting at 4-1, has the most wins out of every team. Uh, uh, so yeah, this is a must win for the Thieves here, and so we'll see if they can do it. So starting off in SV, we have Bagel versus Loudwinner. Uh, this is an interesting matchup. Bagel has not quite performed up to like I think his standard of play. Not to say he's been played badly, but I think he's also kind of put himself at a little bit of a team disadvantage. I'm not sure if I approve of the Sylveon team from last week, even as a Sylveon Mochien enjoyer. Loudwinner,
Aragon is hard as Impriome. I'm sorry.
bro. Don't be saying that, bro. Don't be saying that. Loudwinner
You
3-2 has
you fake
honestly,
hated that metagame.
bro.
Uh,
That's crazy. I hated that metagame, and I never want to play anything like that ever again.
and you love half the tier 3 mons that were in that metagame.
Oh,
Hmm.
Sylveon was like a tier 5 mod, bro. That shit was not that good. I was just on copium the entire time. All right, but Loudwinner 3-2 started off not very strong, but has really pulled it back here, winning 3 straight weeks. Uh, a tough matchup for him for sure, but I think this is very, very even. And I also think like Bagel, I've had questions like about like a little bit of burnout or like how much motivation he really has for this tour after just winning invites. I'm gonna lead Loudwinner here. This is gonna be a rare case where I don't predict for Bagel. But I think Loudwinner just has a lot of momentum. Like winning 3 weeks in a row, that's pretty big for your confidence. Um, and so I'll go with him here. What do you guys think?
Um,
Bagel.
I haven't yeah, I feel like this Bagels play uh everything, man. Bagels play, Bagels luck, Bagels teams all been subpar lately. Um or not subpar. I would not say that, but definitely not to Bagel standard is what I mean to say. Not what I expect from him. Like I said, think very very highly of Bagel. Um so it's unfortunate to see, I mean, you gotta I don't want to bet against my boy. you know, um, Trends would say, Bagel is looking down and Loudwinner is looking up. Um, I do, I do think they need this win. I know this is a pretty. This is I'm not sure if it is, but for a lot of schools right now, this is a pretty busy.
Oh yeah,
It's a pretty busy week. Yeah,
this is like midterm season if you're on the semester system.
yeah.
I had 2 last week and I have another one
And I don't know. I don't know if Bagel really has the time to. Yeah, I don't want to bet against Bagel. I never want to bet against Bagel, but I think I'm going to. I'm going loud winner. Please prove me wrong. But going loud winner here. Got to follow the trends.
If there was ever a week that I would expect Bagel to just load something super solid, super safe, it would be this week, given the
Will
time
certainly be the
constraints
week.
and given the situation that Smikemouth is in, especially after that OSDT loss. Given all those things and the amount of time Bagel's probably going to have to spend on his finals and whatnot, I would expect some more standard team building and perhaps some mitigation of the variance that we've been seeing lately that's not worked out in Bagel's favor. Was it OSTT that he lost? Am I dumb? Am I dumb?
No, he won
Oh, I'm
OSCT.
dumb. I'm dumb. What the hell was that loss that we were talking about that earlier? I
It
think
was
I've
Nito.
muddled my brain.
It was Nito.
Yeah.
He
I
lost.
okay. My brain's muddled. Disregard whatever I said about OSTT. I expect Bagel to play solid this week. It would make the most sense here.
Fair. All right, Exotic 64 versus XQ. Exotic 64 has looked pretty solid this tournament. Check the record here. 2-3. has had some really rough matchups. It's Poppy Loco, Eternal Snowman, and George. Okay, this guy is still 2-0. Okay. Um,
Wow,
however,
way to sack your 3K slot.
yeah, we just found the unluckiest pairings of all time because now he's playing against XQ, who, in my opinion, looks pretty unbeatable right now. So I will lean XQ here. Currently 3-0, technically 3-1. We don't talk about that. But yeah, I'll go with XQ here just because I think XQ is just like really the last like 5 or so months has looked really really good. Um, yeah,
Um, I I mean, XQ, yeah, XQ's definitely been looking really strong. Um, I think this is gonna come down to like I remember the last two teams that Exotic has brought. If you go back and you look at them, if I was a team captain, would not have improved them. So I would definitely. I think this is definitely going to be like can honestly across the board will thieves really step up the prep like as you can see here, Hammerat, Frigoraf, Heatran, and well, not bad, but Heatran. These are just not very certainly a risky composition. That I personally wouldn't approve. I think this team looked one of the scariest to me because I thought the prep would be very strong, and thus far it's really been lacking a little bit. So if there's any a week, there's ever a week where more testing gets done, more input in the builder gets done from the more experienced builders in DOU. I think I think this week I just don't approve bundle quite yet. I think a couple more changes need to be made before it's good. Right now I think this was a wrong call. Um Regardless, I think more testing, more experience. I need to see that for them to get this win, and I'm not entirely certain that it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume the much more solid and consistent player this tour execute is gonna get it done. Uh, yeah.
any thoughts, sister?
I think we've elaborated enough in XQ's favor.
Fair enough. All right, moving on. DOU Shima versus Entro. They freed Entro. What the hell? Let's see.
They freed Entro, and Shima seems to have freed himself.
Let's see.
So
We gotta look
true.
at Shima's record.
2-3, not bad. However, Entro is honestly like one of the the better DOU players who has not really played in this tour. Not a DOU main. I believe asked to be a sub. However, very, very formidable. I can't really predict against Entro here. I'm going with Entro.
Um. Hmm. I think Entro's a little busier, isn't it? Right. In SPL, I believe. I could be wrong about that. And I don't know if he's participating in any of the ND tours currently running. I know Entro also plays Natdex. A couple of Natdex tiers. Uh, yeah. I'd say a weakness of Entros has always been the teams. Just in the case that I think if he's got time to prepare and will be running it over with people that he knows are good and will check them, he'll be solid on that front. But I'm not entirely certain. Um, him being busy is exactly why he asked to be a sub, as far as I know. And Shima did take Zeal 0. Um, only his two wins have been on paper the most formidable opponents. I think I'll go ahead and go Shima here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What do you think, Sister?
I'm 100% in on Shima this week. I think Shima's gonna get some momentum going after last week's win, and his team really needs it right now. I'd be more motivated than ever if I was Shima, and I just don't want to discount that at all.
Fair. Fair. All right. Big Pichu versus Rat Packer. This is a very interesting one. Let me check the records here. Rat Packer, oh, pulled it out around to a 3-2. Wow, that's impressive. Didn't have the strongest start. But 3 wins in a row there. And Big Pichu 1-4. So not the greatest. I will go with Rat Packer. Rat Packer getting like 3 wins in a row there is like really, really solid for him. I've ranked him towards the top of the pool in this tier for a reason. So despite the metagame being bad, this is what I mean. I can't really go against Rat Packer after winning 3 weeks in a row.
Um, hmm, I think I think Rat Packers has been like the main prep for every other DAU. Like I could be wrong. I know Pichu is usually almost always like super busy these days. But every time, I hear a DU player talk about who they prep with, that's usually Rat Packer. Which I assume is why they were able to turn around the record. And I don't expect them to stop. Big Pichu did do pretty solidly last week though. Got a little bit hacks. So I'm not expecting a blowout or anything, but I think Rat Packer's always a safe bet.
He's gonna pack this rat. Pichu is a rat. I'm sorry.
Oh, true.
That's crazy.
Actually, actually,
It had to be said.
Actually, fun fact, I do believe all time Pichu was 1-0 on Rat Packer. Um, because I remember they played OSTT last year and I had that exact same prediction and then Pichu beat Packer in a
I will
fairly
say,
convincing.
I will say Packer is looks a lot more invested now. He had a period of
That's
like almost 8 months where he wasn't really like actively playing the tier. But given the way he's turned around his record, I think he's a little bit more focused now than he's had um, time to previously. I don't know. I don't actually know how busy he is, but he, based on like his play and like how much I've heard about like his DOU prep, I think he's more active now than he was for OSDT. Um,
for sure.
all right, Railgun versus Rob Jr. This is a good matchup. However, I am on the Railgun train right now. I think he's one of like the best players just in DOU in general right now. So I will go with Railgun here. 4-1 in SS. I don't really see Rob Jr. is a very capable player, but it's hard for me to see him stopping Railgun here.
Same, man. Such a Railgun fan right now. Such a Railgun fan. I hope I get the chance to. I'm really hoping that's one of the players I'm really looking forward to getting the chance to play in OSDT because I'm just such a big fan of their play. Um, Rob could definitely pull it out here though. Rob has not been a slouch in this tier at all. Um, but I'm on the railgun train, man. You and me both going railgun here.
This railgun don't miss.
Ooh, okay, you on it with the one-liners today. I gotta say.
He came well prepared. All right, SM Charlotte versus Yoda. Um, on paper to me, this looks even. Let me check the records. Charlotte 2-3, Yoda 3-2. I think based on records alone and just this being pretty even, I'll go with Yoda. Has impressed me a little bit more just from like the games I've watched, but this is very even. A lot. I mean, usually the SM games are very even, but I will go Yoda here.
Um, yeah, mm, think I might go Charlotte actually. I expect um if any of the thieves are gonna ramp it up, being that they need to win this week, it's definitely going to be in the old gens. Considering who the managers are, Friend and Toxident, they're gonna have a lot more input there, and I expect the SMXY and Black and White to all be pretty good this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and I might actually go ahead and bet Charlotte.
Fair.
This tier and Black White are the two tiers that consistently make me go, I have no idea what's going to happen here because the players are even. The tier is something that I don't fully understand yet, and everyone seems to be having at least a decent time.
Fair.
This is
Uh,
this
Fair.
is a feeling vote, and the feeling is Charlotte to me
Interesting. All right.
because all other factors in my mind are equal.
Fair enough. Okay. Talking Tree versus Single Thunder. I think Single Thunder has looked more solid this season. Has played pretty real well, like just generally overall. I'll go with Single Thunder here. Internal orders.
Um, just from what I know from scheduling with Trey, super busy dude. These days especially, and I know ST is a grinder, man. Consistently does a lot of prep every week. When motivated. And also I think it's got a good handle on finding out what the Bokens are. I'm gonna go ahead and guess ST to take it home.
I think he'll bring the thunder.
That's crazy. All right. Fran versus DeWobblefet. BW. This is for a 2-3 matchup. This is kind of crazy. I really think Wob's going to turn it around this week. Really, just despite what the records are, I think he's still like the best BW player. So that's who I'll go with here. But this is very even. This is another highlight matchup to look out for. Fran, a very capable BW player.
This is one of those that you know what, I don't honestly, I don't think Fran can afford to lose this one. I feel like um team captain, your team needs to win this week very badly. And you have the hardest opponent. I feel like that's a lot of pressure. I think it's a very bad sign for the rest of the week if Fran loses this. And I think I want ultimately I think I predict might be predicting Thieves. I want Thieves to take it. I don't know if I'm predicting them, but I want Thieves to take it. So I'm gonna say Fran to win because Fran kind of has to. And the Wob really doesn't. The Wob's the BW goat. We all know.
Fair enough. All
Yeah,
right, I
Friend's gonna
predicted. Oh,
friend.
sorry, my bad.
All I want to say is I hope to see Fran get in a summing circle, chant Maximo Haximo and goob all over Wob this week because he needs it with his team.
Click the mish button, friend.
Oh no, there's only one person allowed to do that. All right. Um, such
Oh,
personally, I predicted Loud Winner, XQ, Entro, Rat Packer, Railgun, Yoda, single. Okay, I predicted 7-1. That is the most lopsided I've ever predicted. This is like, this is like, I need to change my predictions level of lopsided. But this should be a very close week, to be honest. But I do think Cold Crew is one of the most threatening teams overall. I think that kind of shows my predictions here. But yeah, um, just another look at the standings here. This could be the week that really decides who makes playoffs. You know, if Dragons and Thieves lose this week and Spindas win it, we're locked, and that's it. Uh, so yeah, a good week to pay attention to. Yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll be back next time. Peace out.